Hello and welcome back to Phil's Drone Zone, and today's video is specifically for those who are new or fairly new to working with Final Cut Pro 10. It is daunting when first using new software, and today we're going to see how easy it is to create a very effective title video just using freeze frame and a little bit of zoom and some other simple to do effects. So if you are a first-time visitor here, hit the subscribe button and click the bell so that you can stay updated for future videos. So as you can see, I've got two very simple clips lined up, so let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So the first one that we're going to do, the cycling one, is very simple and very straightforward. The second one, the swan, can seem a little bit more complicated, but it just has one or two more steps and is really also very simple to do. So we just need to find where we want to put our freeze frame and then click Shift and H. And that will create a hold, which is pretty much just a freeze frame in the middle of your clip. So stretch that out to about 4 seconds. And so the next thing that I want to do is I want to retime the back end to make that faster. So I'm going to up that to about 150% so that it speeds up at the end. And then I'm going to find the beginning of the freeze frame and I'm going to keyframe that at 100%. And then I'm going to shift in by pressing down Shift and the right arrow key. I'm going to move 10 frames and keyframe again, and I'm going to set that one at 130% so that we have a little zoom in effect there. After that, we'll find the end of the freeze frame and we will again keyframe that at position and scale, and we're going to scale that at 100, and then once again Shift and left arrow key to go back 10 frames, and we will keyframe that at 130%, and that will give us the zoom in, zoom out effect at the beginning and the end. And this is like a lovely little effect, simple to do, which does make a difference when you're doing something like this. Okay, next we're going to grab a title, just a basic title for now, and we're going to just position that somewhere in the middle. And we're going to call it Cycling Week for the want of anything. We'll just change the font to something a little bit better, and we'll scale it up, and we'll give it a bit of color, and we'll change that to a yellow color, and then we'll also give it an outline to make it easier to read. We'll give it a black outline. Just up that so that it makes it a little easier to read. Okay, we'll position that, and then that's the job done. And so all we need to do is to find our keyframes and to position our title at the beginning and the end of the zoom, and then we'll add a cross dissolve, and that's it. That's pretty much all there is to it. It's a very simple thing to do, yet it's quite effective in terms of making a little title intro to your video. Okay, as I said, the next one can look a little bit more complicated, but it just has one or two more steps. As you can see, I've created the hold already, and I've put in my title. I've also added a letterbox, and I've offset it a little bit which means I've brought it down a little bit so that I don't lose the head when I zoom in. I've also added an effect day into night, which has changed the picture into something a little bit nicer. And so we're all set and ready to go. So the first thing different that I'm going to do once I've done this is that I'm going to create two cuts. So I'm going to find the end of the freeze frame, and I'm actually going to cut it there. I'm going to Command B and blade it. I'm also going to do exactly the same thing at the beginning of the frame, and I'm going to Command B to cut that at that point. Now I'm going to duplicate it by pressing down Option, hold, and move it up to create a duplicate on top. So once I've done that, I'm going to find the end of that duplicate clip, and I need to trim that back by 18 frames. There you go, that's 18. So now I'll just trim that back. And now I'm going to find the beginning of the next clip where I bladed it, where it starts moving again, and I'm going to just move that in 6 frames. I'm just going to magnify that out a bit, and then after 6 frames I'm going to blade it and cut it again, and then I'm going to copy it, Command C, and go to the end of the project and then paste it 3 times. So now I have the same clip pasted 3 times. I'm just going to highlight those 3, and then I'm going to move those into the 18 frame space that I created when I trimmed back the duplicate freeze frame. So now what I've done is I've created that little jumpy bit which fits the music, the beat of the music. I can now delete the one that I actually used to copy. So, okay, all well and good at the moment, but I still have a few things to do. Now I need to just do what we did before and keyframe the zoom. So I'm just going to find the start and we'll keyframe that at 100. And then we'll move in 10 frames and we'll keyframe and move it up to 130. And here's where you see where we could have lost the head of the swan if we hadn't offset the letterbox. And then we'll find the end of the clip and do exactly the same as we did the first time round, and we will keyframe at 100% at the end, and then after we've done that one we'll move back in 10 frames and we will keyframe. So this one you can see is 100%, and now we'll just jump back 10 frames and we'll keyframe that one and scale it at 130, and that creates our little zoom in, zoom out. Okay, so next job, we need to, yeah, that seems to be okay. So now we need to find our keyframes, and we need to find where the zoom ends. And there it is, and we'll just move the title back to where the zoom ends. We need to get the title to the other end, so we'll stretch the title out to where the zoom comes out at the end of the freeze frame. Now we just need to do our title, and we're just going to very quickly, because the swan is making the S, we're just going to type in 1, and we'll scale that up. We'll change the font, and we will scale that up and position it. I'm actually going to scale that to 350. Position it. And then add the cross dissolve. And there you have it. And we now have our freeze frame with the title and then that little jumpy bit on the beat of the music. So all that remains is to line up the music the beat of the music to meet those little three jumps. We'll trim the music off, and then we trim everything down so that it's the same size. And that's it. Although there's a couple of extra steps in that one, it really isn't that difficult, and with a little creativity, you can produce a really lovely title effect. And all that remains to be said now is to say thank you very much for watching, and hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you all next time.